This video is sponsored by Gate.io. If you set an account up using the link in the description, you'll get 25% back on all your spot and futures fees for life. Gate.io. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at today's price action. So I'm sure you've all woken up to this. Whoa, massive pumping across the board, which is nice because, like I said, at the weekend I did deploy another 10% only into altcoins this time, right? Just into altcoins because I bought the $21,500 area for Bitcoin before. So I didn't really want to buy any lower than that unless we came down significantly lower. But yeah, altcoins worked out so far so good. Now it's not an enormously relevant portion on the chart as far as this ridiculously massive move over the last 24 hours is concerned. But we did talk about this on the live stream on Friday when we said that, look, there's some altcoins over here which are pointing to, you know, if this does work out for Bitcoin, if Bitcoin does hold this area or higher, being the 200 simple moving average on the daily, then we could be looking at between 10 to 30% bounces for altcoins. And yeah, these are just a few of the ones that we've had on, on the stream. And between 10 to 30% bounces is what we've got. So exactly as expected. It's kind of unfair to say that, really, even though the technicals reflect that on Bitcoin, that this was a possibility. We were looking at the volume signature on the daily. We were looking at the support of the 200 simple. We're looking at a lot of things. But the one thing that we did say, and it was highly speculative, was that if you looked at the Forex market on Friday, with all of this banking situation going on, we had not only a nice chart that we've focused on for a while, which is the nice uptrend, the golden cross, looking for the retest of that, take the position, up and away we go. Especially this time round, we've got regular bullish divergence on the latter stage of the downside here. It's a really good setup, and again, something that we've been waiting for ages. This is the chart. This is the chart to focus on before you trade anything else, because it's a reflection of dollar strength or weakness, not so much euro, but dollar, which corresponds to Dixie. And so this one's worked out exactly as expected, as we all know. But what I was saying on Friday, on the stream, and I think on the videos over the weekend, I can't recall if I was if I did sort of talk about it. I'm pretty sure I will have done. Is that the fact that the dollar closed down and this chart closed up, while equities, things like S&P, major indices and crypto risk assets basically closed down, is a reflection on the markets potentially pricing in a 2.5 basis point rate hike. So the Forex markets were saying, right, something's got to give now, because we're seeing banks fall dramatically across the board globally. I think there's going to be a very good chance of a reversal in Fed policy for this upcoming FOMC meeting. We've got CPI and PPI coming out this week, and Biden last week said, I think it's going to be good, which is a kind of a mad thing to say, unless he's already got the stats. I mean, why stick your neck out and say that? So there's been evidence to suggest that with or without PPI or CPI coming down, inflation coming down, we'll be looking for a 0.25 basis point rate hike, or maybe even a pause, maybe even a reduction, which I find highly unlikely, because the market previously had priced in that 50 basis point, hadn't they, which has started the cascading effect. So we'll see. But yeah, the Forex markets were going up, as in dollar going down, while everything else was going down. It gave a little clue into what the market's thinking. So looking over here, this is obviously S&P's pre-market. It's actually still down, to be fair, still down. It's only Bitcoin that's rallied up to its Bollinger Band center. So let's focus on Bitcoin for now, because there's still there's going to be words of wisdom spoken by very wise people, in being sarcastic by the way, but people who can move markets are going to start speaking this week. There's going to be a lot of talk this week. But if we focus specifically just on the chart, what we see is reclaiming of the major box that we broke down from and so now we're above that 21,500. Reclaimed that as support. Excellent. Bollinger Band center is the problem for us right now. If we get above there and stay above there for a period of days or so, we'll start to get an uptick on that, basically avoiding the death cross on the exponentials and forcing moving averages back up, which will all start to act as supports once again. So it actually does look quite good right now, but we shouldn't get too overexcited. Remember, standard Bollinger Band strategy would suggest that while above you're likely to stay above to the tune of 65%, while below 65% more likely to stay below. We have got a rejection from the Bollinger Band, so the odds are in favour of fannying around in this bottom portion of the Bollinger Band, which unfortunately is facing down. So you know, bit by bit as the days unfold, you know, this rejection, this resistance that we're seeing here now will be lower as each day unfolds. However, we have avoided a death cross on the exponentials, and we will avoid that provided we're above 22,000. So that's good. Closures above 22,000 have all the hope in the world for continuation and that V-shaped recovery that we've been, I suppose, thinking about. We thought about a V-shaped recovery from the exponentials, then we thought about one from the simples. Again, let's face it, it's not just this chart that's moved. It's the powerful people who sit in those comfy seats, who have been speaking about bailing out and stuff like that. So, and I suppose standing back, unless the feces hit the fan, then yeah, a bailout is probably most likely, because we're in a geopolitical standoff at the moment, aren't we? The last thing anybody needs is a financial meltdown when you're trying to stand tall and tough against your against your neighbours, really, your superpower neighbours. So it's not the time to fail. All right, pull out all the stops. If you're going to give all this money to other countries to buy tanks and whatnot and whatever, then you should at least, you know, make sure that you're able to sustain your own life, really. Banks collapse, everything collapses. That effectively is like a weapon of war, isn't it, really? The first strike being that of a economic collapse. You do not want to go through that, let's face it. So yeah, bailouts do seem likely. And then obviously all kinds of measures might take it. Well, we'll see what happens anyway. Let's just talk about this price action. So it's as simple as that. Okay, on the daily, we do need to reclaim this area, which is where we've been rejected from, 22,500. But regardless, it does look like a decent, strong move. Let's take it to a 4-hourly for what it's worth. It's probably too young to really try and interpret in any dramatic way. But yeah, it's more or less the same old deal here as well. We've got 200 exponential on the 4-hourly after the death cross. Which is sitting around 22,200, so not too far away from where we're at right now. Want to get above that, you see, otherwise we'd just class this as a death cross retest, you know, on the 4-hourly, which would mean that, yeah, this would be the start of a continued downtrend. We got the short signal from all the way over here, 23,400. We're not likely to get a pump signal on this one until we reclaim 23,000. So there's a lot of area to go on this before we can get massively excited. Again, a lot of this is going to lay in the words of the powerful people this week, plus the PPI and CPI. But again, I feel as though Forex is priced in this 25 basis point or less on Friday while everything was falling, which is why I felt it was reasonable to at least deploy 10% of my available funds into a variety of different altcoins. But it doesn't mean that this is the low. Absolutely not. Like this could easily just fall back down and continue on further into the teens. But for the moment, we're gonna have to wait for the American markets to open. But I suppose if we stand back and admire the overall environment, being the euro, being one of still looking good. Gold, a great trade from us as well. Same setup that Bitcoin got. Again, all of these charts were doing exactly the same thing. Nice big rally, pull back into a 200 simple exponential moving average, buy the dip, long the dip, whatever you want to do, and wait for it to ride up. So this one worked, euro worked, Bitcoin and S&P probably would have worked if it wasn't for the banking side of things kicking off. But even so, it's still working from a simple moving average, so it's a very similar setup to all those others. Just instead of exponentials, we've used simples. Okay, fair enough. And now we just look and watch and wait to see if these are actually V-shaped recoveries, which there is a good possibility of that happening. That's what these trends suggest. You know, when you get these trends, these divergences and retests of them, these are always the best places to buy in. As you can see on the euro, it works perfectly, just as it did with gold, both doing it exactly textbook stuff. So maybe this is a textbook bounce as well that would go on to a new high. Again, don't expect this to happen overnight. Captain Noobmaster will finish this video, check his chart, and we're down $10. What are you talking about, man? You're wrong. Look, I'll leave it with you there. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I know it upsets a lot of people. So I'll leave it with you there. Anyway, it's very windy outside my house at the moment. Very windy. And it's recycling day. So I'm going to have to go and clean up all that recycling that has not been recycled. Let me know what the weather's like around you are. You know I'm British. That's what we like to talk about. So tell me about your weather. Just to put my algorithm, I'm not particularly massively interested about the weather, obviously. It's just the algorithm might feel as though there's something special going on the channel because people are leaving messages, even though it's completely unrelated. I don't know how clever the algorithm is. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.